All right, buckle up, everyone, because today we're diving deep into something that could save you a chunk of change this tax season. The IRS Free File Program.
Yep. It's a pretty fantastic program that a lot of people don't know about.
Okay, so for someone who's hearing about it for the first time, can you break down what it actually is? What's the deal with IRS Free File?
Well, basically, it's like this. The IRS partners with a bunch of those tax software companies you see advertised all the time.
Right, right.
And together, they offer free online tax prep and filing services to, get this, millions of taxpayers.
Millions. Wow. Okay, but what's the catch? It sounds almost too good to be true.
I know, right? But I promise, the software itself is totally free to use. You won't run into any hidden fees, no tricks, or anything like that.
Okay, phew. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing there are some, eligibility requirements. Not everyone can just jump in and file for free.
You got it. The main thing they look at is your adjusted gross income, or AGI. So for taxes you're filing this year, for 2024, you need to have made $84,000 or less to qualify.
Gotcha. So if you made less than 84 grand last year, you're good to go.
Exactly. Oh, and also active duty military, they're eligible no matter how much they made.
That makes sense. Okay, so you mentioned earlier that each software company might have its own rules on top of the IRS guidelines.
Yeah, you're right. It's true. So while that $84,000 is the general rule, each provider can have their own, little extra criteria.
Additional hoops to jump through?
Yeah, it could be your age, what state you live in, or even how complicated your taxes are. Some might be pickier if you're self-employed or have a ton of investments.
So it's not just about the income limit. You got to check the fine print with each company, too.
Right. It's got to be sure you fit what they're looking for. But here's a bonus. Sometimes you can even file your state taxes for free with some of these providers.
Whoa, free state filing too. That's a major win. Okay, I'm sold. So let's say I'm ready to dive in. Where do I even start finding the right free file product?
It's super easy. You just got to go to irs.gov free file. That's the home base for this whole thing.
Straight to the source.
Exactly. And once you're there, you'll see a couple of cool tools. There's the Find a Trusted Partner thing, which kind of walks you through it based on your situation.
So it's like a matchmaking service for free tax filing. Like it.
Pretty much. But if you want to be more adventurous, you can also just browse all the partners and see what they offer.
Gotcha. So cater to different personalities. You can be guided or go rogue. Love the options.
Yep. They try to make it easy for everyone, no matter how you like to do things. And by the way, you can do the whole thing from your phone or tablet too.
Oh, nice. Gotta love that mobile access these days. Okay, so let's say I've picked a provider. Seems legit. But now I'm thinking about all those tax credits I hear about. Am I going to miss out on any of those using this free software? What about the earned income credit or the child tax credit? Those are the big ones, right?
Yeah, those are definitely important ones. But don't worry, Free File actually helps you figure all that out. It asks you some questions and then just knows what credits you qualify for.
So it's basically like having a tax expert built right into the software.
You could say that. It's pretty handy. And yeah, the EITC and child tax credit, those can really make a difference. You could even get money back even if you didn't owe any taxes.
Wait, what? You can get money back even if you didn't pay anything in. How does that work?
Those are called refundable credits, and they can be pretty awesome. Imagine you're a single parent working part-time and maybe you didn't have to pay any federal income tax. But with those credits, you could actually get a few $1,000s back.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Free File makes it super easy to figure out.
Totally. And just so you know, there's this handy tool called the EITC Assistant.
The EITC Assistant.
It's on the IRS website,
Yeah.
and it's in both English and Spanish, which is really great.
Awesome. So it helps you know if you're eligible for the EITC and how much you might get.
Exactly. Super helpful.
All right. I'm definitely checking that out. Now, before we wrap this part up, I'm curious about the companies themselves. Who are these awesome partners participating in Free File? Let's see. There are 8 of them this year. We've got 1040 Now, Drake, which you might also know as 1040.com.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
And then there's istaxreturn.com, fileyourtaxes.com, Online Taxes, TaxAct, TaxHawk, or Free Tax USA, if you prefer.
So many choices.
And last but not least, TaxSlayer.
It's like a whole tax software buffet. And I got to give a shout out to istaxreturn.com for having a Spanish version. That's super important to make sure everyone can access this stuff.
Totally agree. Making it accessible for everyone is key. And get this, Free File is already open. You can actually start working on your taxes right now.
Hold up. You mean even though it's only January? The deadline's not until April, right?
Yeah, but they'll hold your return until it's time to file. It just lets you get a head start and maybe even get your refund a bit quicker.
I love getting things done early. So you're saying if I'm eligible, I can jump on Free File right now and get a jump on my taxes.
You got it. Might as well get it out of the way, right?
That's awesome. And I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here, but I'm sure there's still more to explore. Oh yeah, there's definitely more.
We'll be back with even more about Free File in part 2 of our deep dive. All right, welcome back to our deep dive on IRS Free File. So last time we were talking about the basics, who can use it, are there any hidden costs, and we even got into those tax credits.
Yeah, and the credits are super important, right?
Absolutely, can't leave money on the table. But you mentioned all those different companies that are part of Free File. Like, what's the difference between them? Do they all offer basically the same thing?
Well, they all do the free federal filing thing,
Oh,
yeah.
sure.
But they all kind of have their own little specialties.
So it's not like a one-size-fits-all kind of deal.
Not really. It's more like, if you're a freelancer, maybe you want a provider that's, really good with self-employment stuff. Or if you have a bunch of investments, maybe you go with one that's better at handling those.
So it's all about finding the right fit for your specific situation.
Yeah, exactly. Find what works best for you.
Okay, so let's say I'm ready to pick a Free File partner. Like, walk me through the process. Where do I go from here?
Okay, so you're going to start at that same website, irs.gov free file.
Right, the headquarters for all things Free File.
Yep. And then remember those tools. Find a trusted partner and browse all trusted partners.
Oh, yeah, I remember. One's like a guided tour, and the other one lets you explore everything yourself.
Right. So find a trusted partner is great if you're like feeling a little lost. It'll ask you, a few basic questions like how much you made, your age, what state you're in, are you in the military, things like that.
So it uses that info to match you with the right provider.
Exactly. It's pretty slick.
Okay, but even if I use that tool, I can still look at all the providers if I want to.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like maybe something catches your eye that wasn't a perfect match from the tool.
Makes sense. Okay, keep those options open. All right, so I've got my list of potential providers. I've done my research. What are some things I should be thinking about when I'm making that final decision? Like, how do I pick the one?
Oh, it's really about what matters to you. Like, if you want something that's super easy to use, really simple, look for a provider that's known for that. Or if your taxes are kind of complicated, maybe customer support is a big deal for you.
So it's all about prioritizing what's most important.
Yep. And don't forget to check reviews. Seeing what other people have to say about a provider can be really helpful.
That's a great tip. Real-world feedback is always valuable. Now, even with all this talk about Free File and how easy it is, I'm still a little, intimidated by those tax credits. Any other advice for navigating that part?
Don't sweat it. Free File's got your back. Like, it asks you the questions it needs to and then just tells you which credits you qualify for.
So it's like having a little safety net, making sure you don't miss anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like, did you go to school this year? Did you have kids in daycare? Did you put solar panels on your house? That kind of stuff.
Wow, I had no idea those things could be tax credits.
Oh, yeah, there are a ton of them out there.
So even if I'm not sure what I qualify for, Free File will figure it out.
You got it. That's the beauty of it. It takes the guesswork out of it for you.
This is all making me feel a lot better about doing my taxes this year. But I'm thinking, what about people who don't qualify for Free File? Like if their income's a little too high, are they just out of luck?
Actually, no. There is another option for those folks. And that's what we're going to talk about next time.
We're back for the final part of our Free File deep dive. And last time, you were just about to tell us about that other option for folks who don't meet those income requirements for the main program.
Right. So this one's called Free File Fillable Forms. So if you're like a little above that $84,000 AGI limit, you can still file for free.
Free File Fillable Forms. That sounds a little more do-it-yourself than the software we were talking about before.
Yeah, it's kind of like the online version of those paper IRS forms, but, without all the printing and mailing and trying to figure out what goes where.
So basically, you're filling out the forms yourself, but on your computer.
Yep.
Okay, so what's the advantage of using this option?
Well, anyone can use it no matter how much money they make. So if you're pretty comfortable doing your own taxes and you don't need someone holding your hand through it, this is a great way to file for free.
I can see how that would appeal to some people, those who already know their way around in 1040.
Mm-hmm.
But what about those of us who, might need a little help along the way?
Well, there are all those instructions and publications from the IRS. You can find them online. They break down each part of the forms so you know what all the jargon means and what you need to fill out.
So it takes a bit more work on our end, but it's still a free way to file online.
Exactly. And, even though you're doing it yourself, Fillable Forms still does the calculations for you and has those little error checks so you don't mess up the math or anything.
Oh, good. Always nice to have a safety net, especially when it comes to taxes.
Right. No one wants to make a mistake there. And by the way, Fillable Forms doesn't open until a little bit later in the season. It should be available starting January 27th.
Okay, so regular free files open now, but fillable forms starts on the 27th.
Yep.
Got it. So I guess you could even try both if you wanted to, right?
Yeah.
Use the software first to get a feel for things and then double check everything in fillable forms.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. That way you can make sure everything's accurate and really understand what's going on.
That's a great tip. So the bottom line is there are free options out there, whether you make a little or a lot, whether you're a tax whiz or totally clueless.
Exactly. It's all about finding the right tool for you.
Awesome. Well, I think we've officially demystified the IRS free file program. We covered who can use it, how to pick the right provider, even how to make sure we're getting all those tax credits. And we talked about that other option, fillable forms, for those who make a little bit more. It's been a great deep dive.
It has. Hopefully everyone feels a little more confident about tackling their taxes this year.
That's what we like to hear. So listeners, don't leave money on the table. Head over to irs.gov free file, check out your options, and see if free file is right for you. It could save you time, stress, and maybe even put some cash back in your pocket. And that's it for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.